The Democrat leader.
I ask unanimous consent the quorum be dispensed with.
Without objection.
So, Mr. President, today's October 1st, the first full day of Donald Trump's government shutdown. Donald Trump and Republicans have barreled us into a shutdown because they refuse to protect Americans' health care. It's clear that the way out of this shutdown is to sit down and negotiate with Democrats to address the looming health care crisis that faces tens of millions of American families. Democrats want to avert this crisis, but Republicans tried to bully us, and it's clear they can't. They don't have the votes. The way out of this is for Republicans to finally roll up their sleeves and get to work. Republicans need to get serious and start actually addressing the looming crisis and reopen the government. Now, why has all of this happened? Why are we here on October 1st? Because Republicans have tried to stick us with a partisan CR that fails to protect Americans' health care and does nothing to fix the health care mess that they created. It has now failed twice to get enough votes in this chamber. So Republicans need to negotiate with us. And Speaker Johnson's got to get his people here. If anyone wanted evidence as to who wanted this shutdown, just look at the fact that Johnson does not even have the House in session. When Democrats had the White House, the Senate, and the House, when Democrats had the majority in this chamber, when I was majority leader, we never had one shutdown in 4 years, not one. You know why? Because we worked with our Republican colleagues to find a way to keep the government funded. We did this 13 times, as Leader Thune likes to remind everyone. That's a lot of bipartisan negotiation, but not this time, not so today. Republicans need to negotiate. Today is October 1st, and that means something else is happening today. Americans throughout the country are opening their mailboxes and finding letters in there telling them that their health insurance is about to go way, way, way up. The other day, we thought it was about $400 a month that the average American family would pay more in insurance premiums. But it turns out it's even worse than that. A Kaiser report, a nonpartisan, well-respected Kaiser report from yesterday says it's on average of $1,000 a month, and God forbid even much more for so many Americans. Healthcare premiums, because of what the Republicans have done, is going up 114% a year on average. The average premium is going to more than double. What's the average American family supposed to do with that? What happens on Friday night when the family sits around the kitchen table and says, how are we going to pay the bills, when they see that their insurance could be $1,000 more a month? Health insurance, vital to the parents, the children of the family. What are they going to do? The average American can't afford $1,000 a month or even $400 a month without cutting back on their health care or cutting back on something else that's vital. You know, Mr. President, Americans are saying the number one issue is cost. They now rate Donald Trump worse on costs than they rated Joe Biden, and he didn't have very good ratings. It's the tariffs. It's the change in electricity costs because of what they've done with the cheapest and cleanest source of energy and putting electrons on the grid, which is solar. They got rid of it in their fanatical hatred of clean energy, and now they're putting money into coal. It's incredible. Because of costs of groceries, of meat. But the number one increase in cost now, on October 1st, is health care costs. And the average American is going to say, what the heck happened here? And we Democrats are going to be there every day, every hour. Senate, House, groups that care about health care, hospital groups, health care groups, research groups, and letting them know this didn't have to happen. It happened because our Republican colleagues wanted to give tax breaks to billionaires and cut their health care. It's incredible. It is incredible. 3 times we asked our Republican colleagues to extend the ACA tax credit. 3 times they voted no. Well, it's not too late. They could change. When I met with the president, he seemed not to know the magnitude of the crisis, and he said, "Oh, this is going to hurt me." Well, it sure will. But it's going to hurt every American. What's motivating Democrats, what's motivating me, is simply to take this burden off the shoulders of tens of millions of American families who struggle each week to pay the bills, and they don't need this huge increase in something as vital as health insurance. And the Republicans sort of know this. So what do? They make up lies, absolute lies. They say, oh, what they're fighting to do is prevent, they say, illegal immigrants from getting federal health care dollars. That is a damn lie. Not $1 of Medicare, Medicaid, or ACA is allowed to go to undocumented immigrants, not $1. So why do they keep saying this? This seems to be their theme, because they're afraid to talk about the real issue. It's typical Republican response. Have a diversion, try to scare people emotionally. But I'll tell you, to the average American family, that $1,000 a month increase or that $400 a month increase on their health care bills means a lot more than political crap put in the air, lies by our Republican colleagues. So I was very glad this morning that some of the commentators on TV said that. When they say that undocumented immigrants are going to get this money, it's a lie, plain and simple. It's a lie so lazy and so outlandish it's easy to rebut. But again, let me be clear. Undocumented people cannot and will not receive premium tax credit by law. The federal government does not fund federal health insurance for undocumented immigrants in Medicaid or Medicare, period, full stop. So they don't care. Why? Because they know the American people are on our side, and they know they're going to get angrier and angrier starting today when they see these health care bills. Listen to this poll. A Kaiser Family Foundation poll found a whopping 75% of Americans support extending the ACA premium tax credit, including 63% of Republicans. When our Republican Senate and House colleagues go around their communities, of course the House isn't even here this week, as I mentioned, they're going to hear it in the barbershops, in the restaurants, in the diners, and at the Little Leagues, and at the Veterans Halls, because it's so shocking people are going to be talking about it. They'll see. And we Democrats are going to be there relentlessly letting people know why it happened. Because our Republican colleagues did not want to help us out of this crisis. Instead, they wanted to give the dollars to billionaires. President Trump calls what the Democrats want radical. President Trump, it is not radical to say Americans deserve lower health care premiums. It is not radical to say we want to prevent the average American family from getting these huge increases, those on ACA, $1,000 a month. When Democrats say we want to work with Republicans to lower premiums, to strengthen health care, all we are doing is reflecting what the American people already want. Nothing more, nothing less. They want us to sit down and negotiate something real that takes this huge, huge burden off their shoulders. And Donald Trump, instead of acting like an adult, he's the most immature president we have ever had. Instead of doing something to stop the health care crisis, is threatening to hurt countless hardworking Americans. Let me repeat the quote Donald Trump said yesterday. We can do things during the shutdown that are irreversible. They're bad for them and irreversible, like cutting vast numbers of people out, cutting things they like, cutting programs they like. Donald Trump says it loud and clear. That's one thing about him. He is using the American people as pawns, threatening pain on the country as blackmail. Well, that's not going to work. The American people, it's so easy to see through those tactics. They know this is the Trump shutdown. They know Republicans control the presidency, the Senate, and the House. And what is done during the shutdown will fall squarely on the Republicans' back. Donald Trump even says it. He says he is going to close down all these things people want. It's going to fall right on his back. The American people will know who's doing it, and he's going to have to recoil from it, just as they have done so many cuts already, even before October 1st. And they had to back off on many of them, some because of the courts, but some because of public outcry, such as the huge cutbacks they made in the VA. Well, Democrats' positions hasn't changed. We're willing, ready, and able to negotiate. We're ready to reopen the government today. We've made our position clear about how to move forward. Surely, we can come together and agree we need to fix health care, and that needs to happen now, as people are getting these incredible increases. And within a few weeks, they're going to have to say what new health care, if they'll even keep their health care or have to cut it back or do something else that hurts them because they don't have the money. If Republicans work with us and fix America's health care crisis, the shutdown could go away very quickly. And that's what Democrats want, to end this now, fix health care now. It's the right thing to do for the American people. We urge our Republican colleagues, we urge President Trump to take yes for an answer. Yield the floor.